Hello, 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 and happy Tuesday. We got a very special guest in the building. One of my favorite guests in the building. He's back. Please, y'all, please welcome Chef Jernard Wells. How you doing today? Welcome to our studio.
Yes, look, thank you for having me. I am feeling good. Look, the energy is always high when I come in the building.
You always bring the good sauce, the good flavors. So let's dive into your newest TV show, Savor the City, man.
Look, Savor the City is truly a labor of love. And one of the things I always tell Savor the City, tell people that ask, what is Savor the City? I tell them Savor the City is the best in our culture, the best in food, music, entertainment, art. And wherever we are, that's where Savor the City is, baby.
Love it. What made you want to, I guess, do a travel show?
It's always been one of my biggest dreams to do a travel show because I feel that it's so many parts of the world and even just here in America that hasn't been touched, but we are there. And I always wanted to highlight our people, highlight our resilience, and show how great we are and what we contribute to the culture. So this has been a dream for mine for over six years. From the time when I started off being mentored by Miss Kathy Hughes, and then meet Michelle Rice, the president of TV One and Clio TV, and just finding out how we all had this bigger dream, this bigger desire to want to share more with our people in the world. And here we are.
Welcome. Can you maybe tell us why Savor the City or how Savor the City will be different from New Soul Kitchen?
Savor the City is different from New Soul Kitchen because what New Soul Kitchen gives you is it gives you Chef Jernard, the true chef in his essence, creating some of my nostalgic meals that I've loved, meals that I'm amused by when I'm experiencing travels and restaurants. All these things, I teach you how to cook this in the comfort of your own home in a fraction of the time. But Savor the City, it's about savoring that moment in a different way. Instead of just focusing on eating great food, which might I add, we do. I'm talking about, man, Martha's Vineyard, Napa Valley, Nashville. Ooh, and the list goes on and on. Miami, Oakland, look, San Francisco, New Orleans, some of the best food. But you know what's wrapped around all that amazing food? It's history, it's culture, it's the stories of resilience. And then also we got those nuggets of art that comes in right there. Because look, I'm highlighting some amazing hotels, some places that's on the Green Book. Now, I don't know if they done heard about the Green Book before, but look, I'll share with you what the Green Book is.
Now tell me what the Green Book is.
Exactly. Now, the Green Book was designed years ago, and it was the route that we as people of color would travel or could only travel to feel safe. It had some of the best hotels where a person of color could stay in, the roads to travel, what times a day, what routes to take, where to stop and eat at. So this is my way of retracing those steps, going into some of those cities. Also, a lot of the locations that I go in and we allow that story of resilience to be told were actually a part of the Green Book. So it's my way of bringing history to today, because how we know where we're going if we don't know where we've been?
That's a bar right there. That's a bar right there. So tell me, what the Green Book? Okay, I want to dive a little deeper into the Green Book. So this was probably during
Doing segregation, doing segregation, the Jim Crow eras, civil rights movement. That's during the time where the Green Book was created. And the Green Book really is an atlas for Black people. And because it was a certain point in time where we couldn't travel like we can now. We couldn't move the way we move now.
could eat at certain places.
Yeah, you could eat at certain places. And then on top of that, a lot of places we was known to want to go in, and we go in there and we find out, look, what I got at home and what I got in my community is so much more. Yes. And those are the stories that we tell.
I love in that Savor the City, you explore untold stories of Black cultural history. Could you share a moment from filming that was particularly meaningful or inspiring to you?
Wow. You know, There are so many moments that I'm grabbing in time because what I tell everyone that I sit down with, not only am I allowing them the opportunity to tell their story, but they're sewing into me because this history is so rich. But having the opportunity while in Nashville to sit down with the one of the family members of Prince's Hot Chicken, the daughter of Andrea Prince, Simone, sitting down with her and hearing the story of how Prince's Hot Chicken. See, we hear about Nashville hot chicken, but do we know the story? Do we know that the original hot chicken originated from us by the Prince family hands almost 100 years ago? See, those are the kind of stories that inspires me, that lets me know, even as a small business owner and a man of color, that I can achieve so much and that there's legacy. Sometimes the stories that are told us about legacy, passing something on generation to generation. Sitting down talking to Fawn Weaver. We know that Fawn Weaver with Uncle Nearest built this conglomerate from the ground up, and seeing how she's making an impactful change and showing us how it can be done. But then not just there, spending time in Martha's Vineyard at the Dragonfly House and sitting down with their family and hearing their story on how they moved from New York to Martha's Vineyard and the way of life there. You know, it's those impactful moments that really mean so much. And even look, going to New York, and while in New York, experiencing the largest parade with people of color, the West Indian Day Parade. Look, when I tell you this parade is so big, and just seeing the beauty of our people, the culture, the food, the dancing, all of that makes us who we are. That's what is most important. And that's what not only am I getting out of it, but I want to share those parts with the world too.
You know, one of your specialties is Southern food. And of course, you go to New Orleans. Tell us about that episode and that trip to New Orleans, and just kind of expound on what the New Orleans culture and the New Orleans food is for us in our history.
Now, my culinary background is French and Cajun cuisine, which is Creole. And before going to culinary art school, because my father is native to that area, I learned this cuisine naturally from him. And just spending that time in New Orleans and speaking with the natives and dining with them and eating the rich food that comes from out of New Orleans, which I say is some of the original first food. That's why their cuisine is so nostalgic. It's so good. I'm talking about something as simple as red beans and rice, cooking them slow and slow. I sit down and looked dizzy and met with the team and experienced their food, heard their story on how Lil Dizzy has been in New Orleans since the 40s. You know, there's resilience all the way to going downtown to Bourbon Street, all the way to the quarters, you know, and seeing our people. One of the new and upcoming businesses that's there, that's really thriving. And I tell you, the food is amazing, but the couple story is phenomenal. It's Nice Guys. It's headquarters by Nice Guys in New Orleans. When I tell you they're doing things on a big playing field, there's no stopping them. All the way down to if they go to TV One and watch any of our digital stuff, because see, I cover so much in these cities. A lot of it can't even make it to TV because we gotta squeeze all this in a 1 hour segment, and it normally takes about a week to create the 1 hour because I want to get so much in. That's why we know, look, this is a never ending loop. So you can look forward to season 2, season 3, because some places it's so good I got to go back and get more. But in these cities, when we're getting it, in some that don't make it to TV, we put them on TV One's digital platform. We put them on my Instagram page at Chef Jernard, like Willoughby's Catfish. When I tell you, this brother and father-son duo in New Orleans, the father started out farming and raising catfish, selling catfish. So the son goes to college, graduates from college, and he comes back home and say, you know what, Dad, I'm gonna go buy some land in Mississippi. The son makes a wise investment, purchases land in Mississippi, dig holes, and start catfish farming. Use the land for catfish farms. Now, guess what they do? They get this brick and mortar business. They put this pond in the middle of the store, and every morning they bring fresh catfish into the store where you can come in and get fresh catfish. Not only do you get to net your own catfish out the water, but if you want, they will skin it, they will fry it, they will batter it. And when I tell you, the experience is none like no other. And that's, you only can get that in New Orleans.
I ain't gonna lie, I gotta go check out that spot.
Yes, you do.
I ain't gonna lie, that sounds like where I need to go to next. But one thing I do love about this show and what you're doing is that you're really spotlighting some Black businesses for a national TV audience. You're putting them out and you're giving them the exposure. I know some of these places have seen upticks in sales after your episodes and stuff like that. How do you choose who you want to highlight and who you want to put on TV?
You know, I get that question a lot, and I always tell people it's a team effort. It's between TV One team, Powerhouse Productions, and myself. And we all come together because we all travel the world. So we're experiencing these. And when we're going in these places, a lot of times we've stepped in the doors of these places, they didn't even know we were there. But and those are the reasons why we want to highlight them, because if you have great service, great experience, amazing food, and you don't even know who I am when I'm in the building, I know how you're going to be when I come in with the cameras. So it's those people that we want to tell their stories, because look, they're not just great when the camera's on, they're great when it's off. And that's when it matters.
So we know that New Orleans has great food. We know New York has great food. We know Atlanta has great food. What's a city that's going to shock people that they don't think like it's good eats there, but you go show them it is?
Oh my goodness. I think one of the biggest places that's going to shock people the most is Miami food. While in Miami, and when I say this, it's because it's one of those wild cards. You typically wouldn't even put Miami in the same category together. But listen, but the two M's go together. And when I say this right here, Miami and the House of Mac. And when I tell you macaroni and cheese, the way this brother is doing macaroni and cheese in Miami at the House of Mac is unbelievable. Mac every kind of way that you could think. Short rib Mac, buffalo Mac, oxtail Mac. The Mac list just goes on and on. Creamy, velvety, made from scratch. And the young man that owns the House of Mac and that created it, he has an amazing story. He was the manager for the artist Pitbull. And going from being a manager, he's surrounded by all these entertainers, UGK, Bun B, all of these entertainers, and he's managing them and he's sewing into them from his business side of things, but had a gift for cooking. And when they would come hang over, he the one on deck making his mac and cheese, not realizing that was his next calling. So it's stories like that we are telling on Savor the City.
You got your new show, you got a couple shows, you got your cookbooks, and I know you got your own restaurant you're planning that's soon to be open. How do you balance all of this?
Work-life balance. Yes, look, I'm opening up a new restaurant in downtown Grayson, Georgia, in the Rail Yard. The name of the restaurant is Cornbread and Butter by Chef Jernard Wells. And one of the things from traveling the world, so much experience and all this amazing cuisine, it continues to sharpen my palate. It continues to reignite that energy in me, because that's how I originally arrived in Atlanta almost 10 years ago. I opened an Asian restaurant up downtown Atlanta on Lucky Street. And I've always been that cultural cook, and because I knew that as an African-American chef, the food that we created was tapped into every other culture there was. And it was time for us to reclaim it back. And with Cornbread and Butter, I'm highlighting some of my most nostalgic dishes that I love growing up. Of course, a heavy emphasis on cornbread. When I talk about peach and bourbon hot water skillet cornbread, we got, we got a strawberry bacon cornbread muffin. Look, we're doing it on a whole nother level, but not only do we focus on that, but we have brunch on a high scale level. Then we have dinner. That's a completely different menu. So it's about giving them the best of both worlds. But I couldn't do none of this without my family, my team behind me, because I'm only as strong as the people that's holding me up behind me. And it takes a group effort. And I learned years ago on how to integrate my family into my journey so that I get that work-life balance. So even when I'm working, it don't even feel like I'm working, man, because I've managed to master the art of incorporating my family in all things Chef Jernard.
So I remember when we talked, you spoke a little bit about how your father inspired your cooking, right?
Yes.
Your father's inspired your cooking. Are your kids? Are you trying to get them into the chef business too? Are they into cooking or?
You know, as a child growing up, my father did inspire my style of cooking. He inspired me to and taught me how, as a father, that's who made me have that first love for cooking and seeing as a man that cooking was cool for a guy. He would bring me in the kitchen and come to find out that was his way of spending time with me. And not only did I feel that bonding moment, but it was teaching me recipes. It was teaching me skills, and it was teaching me how to survive in life, because it ultimately became my career. But it also taught me, when I became a family man and I had kids, it gave me a method on how I could bridge them into my life and sow this gift and allow them to choose it. And I'm happy to say that I have a few of my kids that chose to go this route in the culinary field. I have one that's getting ready to graduate Georgia State University in a business degree. Yes, in a business and entertainment degree. So he like, Dad, I want to help handle things for you on the business entertainment side. I got a daughter that's getting ready to go to Johnson and Wales University and gonna major in baking and pastry, because she like, Dad, I want to become your pastry chef. I know you got the savory cooking down pat, but look, I've got a scholarship to go here. Because see, not only do they like, look, we ain't gonna burn your dad, we're gonna work hard in school, we're gonna get scholarships. I got a scholarship for Johnson and Wales, and this is how I want to pay back into the family. So it's things like that that make me just proud to be a father, make me be proud to be on this journey that I'm on.
One episode I can't wait to watch. If you guys go to a city, I can't wait to visit one day. Or a country, I think, the Bahamas. Why did you choose to highlight their culture?
Going to the Bahamas and choosing the Bahamas is just one of many countries that I'll be going to. I'm talking about the Bahamas has such rich Caribbean culture, the food, Junkanoo Beach, spending time going to Goldie's House of Conch. If you ever had conch salad. But one of the biggest stories that I want to tell with Savor the City going is I want to paint the picture and show the narrative of that one string fabric of hair, as I would say, that comes from Africa to America. But in the process of that slave ship coming from Africa to America, the slave ship stopped off on all these islands, the slave trade in all the Caribbean islands, Barbados, Trinidad, and Belize, stopped at all these places, selling goods, selling us. And by virtue of the fact that you have all these Black people populating these islands, America was the last stop. So if I'm retracing the roots of our greatness on Savor the City, I'm going to every country, I'm going to every island where our people are, because we're tracing it back to Africa, baby. And that's ultimately where we're going. We're going to Africa when it's all over. Yes, and guess what? We're going to do it all over again.
I love it. So I got to know, what is the wildest dish, maybe the craziest dish that you've put together?
The wildest or craziest dish that I've put together. I would have to say the wildest dish that I put together was my truffle and saffron caviar lasagna cups. Now, this dish, and why it was wild and crazy like this, was because I was competing in the World Food Championship. The World Food Championship is the largest food sport in the world. And I was competing for where my title would be in the seafood division. And several things they judge you off of is what's called the EAT method: execution, appearance, and taste. How well your creativity is on executing the dish, the appearance of that dish, and overall the taste of the dish. And luckily enough, with creating that dish, and not luckily enough, skillfully enough, creating that dish, when the judges tasted it and felt that it was amazing, I ended up walking away with the title as the third best chef in the world in the seafood division. division. Because also in that lasagna, what we did was instead of having just Wagyu beef in it, we also had shaved lobster meat inside of this lasagna.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
indeed. I'm talking
Get me
about
hungry.
decadent on top of decadent. So when you bite into it, you get that nice savoriness of the umami, the richness from that vodka sauce, the tomato vodka sauce that we had balanced in it. Then you got the creaminess from the smoked provolone and the mozzarella cheese, all baked into the. Because what I did was I put it in these muffin tins and made this lasagna like a muffin cup, so that when they bite into it, they get that experience.
Get me hungry, man.
That's what it's about, guys. Look.
Sounds delicious, bro. Sounds delicious. So I want you to kind of give some advice to that aspiring chef. You know, that chef that I'm kind of scared to let people try my cooking. I might post something on my Instagram story, maybe a TikTok, but I'm scared. What is two pieces of advice you give to that aspiring chef that wants to be like you one day?
Yes. To that aspiring chef or the home cook who's just starting off that sees Chef Jernard like, oh, I want to be like Chef Jernard. A couple of things I want you to take note of. Chef Jernard at one point was sitting just like you, looking at TV and seeing chefs that look like me, that talk like me, that sound like me. And I was desiring saying, ooh, I want to be like them. So I'm saying that to say that it is possible. The second thing, if you have a gift as an artist, because creating food is an art form.
Absolutely.
What you're doing, you're painting a picture with your plate. If you have that gift, never be afraid to share your art with anyone, because your art is your art. And the way you cook it the way you like it, the way it tastes good to you. And then you serve it to people so that they can experience it in the essence of who you are. And that's a direct extension of them experiencing you as a whole. So too often we worry about, oh, what if they don't like the way it tastes? It's not about that. It's about them experiencing who you are on that plate. So cook boldly, cook fiercely, but more importantly, cook the way you love.
Why was TV1 the perfect partner for Savor the City?
TV1 was the perfect partner for Savor the City for so many reasons. One of the things is TV1 is the largest African American owned platform on TV. And what I love about that is they allow me to share my stories, to tell my journey in my facet. Too often do we land opportunities on some of the major networks and we have shows, but are we really sharing who we are? Or are we sharing the narrative that the network wants us to share to the world? And this is what I love about TV1 is they allow me to be me in my authentic self. And they allow me to tell stories that enrich our people, because ultimately that's what I want to do. I want to create a better us, because creating a better us makes a better me.
Man, I just want to say thank you so much, Chef Jernard, for sitting with us today, talking to us about Savor the City and just about food in general, man, about your passion, man. So please let everybody know where we can tune in to watch Savor the City and where we can keep up with you and even get your cookbooks. We know we need the recipes.
Yes, indeed. Please check out Savor the City every Thursday on TV1, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. You can stream it, you can cloud it, all those things. Look, when I'm saying you can cloud it, save it on the cloud, go back and watch it. Them ratings help. Go to Philo, AT&T, all those places, Comcast. We are there. So don't say, where can I find it? We everywhere that you can get TV, on your phone, all those places. So make sure you check out Savor the City, because this is a gem for you and me. But more importantly, also go to my website, chefjernard.com, or follow me on all social media platforms at Chef Jernard. Check out my latest cookbook, Southern Inspired, My American Table, because look, I'm giving you the goods one bite at a time.
Thank you so much, Chef Jernard, for joining us in the Star Studio. It's your host, Wyatt Toby, and we are rolling out low. Perfect.